Well, hello everybody, and welcome back. I know that it's been a really long time since we've done a video, and we really very much appreciate you guys and, just being patient with us. Our Mandy is going through a really, really rough patch, so of course stay tuned for that, because she's going to share a lot of stuff. She for most of you that follow our mental health check, you all know that she suffers from DID, and she has been having some splitting episodes, some different things that have been happening, and how she's been struggling with that and stuff like that since really and truly since the loss of her sweet little kitty, that little kitty cat. I know that in the normal world, most people would be like, well, it's just a cat, who cares? But no, when we have an emotional support animal, or even any of our animals, they're very much our babies in our lives, and not only are they like our fur babies, like I said, but they often do provide emotional support. And so she did lose her little boy kitty, and that's been very, very rough on her, and it's caused a lot of mental health issues for her and whatnot. But so stay tuned with us. Actually, right now her doctor and her psychologist have asked her to be off for at least another 3 weeks. So you're just going to have me on here for a little while, which is fine. Hopefully you guys won't mind that. But basically, she's just going to have to take some time because it is requested and it is required of her. So know that, but also know that she's also working on a number of weeks of teaching for you guys to explain, first off, what she's gone through, the splitting, the different things that have happened, and how she was able to get through it using the skills that we have been sharing with you guys up to this point. So that being said, I'm going to share something with you guys today that has been on my heart. Now, I've written out a little something for you guys that I'm going to share with you. And hopefully, this will help you guys, I don't know, to understand a little tiny bit of loss and those types of things, and what can happen, especially for those of us that suffer with mental health issues. On the normal side of the world or whatever, people often say, oh, just get over it. Well, that's not always so easy, and it's easier said than done sometimes. So I thought I would share a little something with you guys that I wrote up. So here it says, have you ever had someone leave your life abruptly? And I can almost guarantee that every one of us have had that at one point in their lives, where, somebody has left abruptly, whether through death or they've moved away or whatever. And sometimes, and I don't want to trigger anybody, but sometimes that can be a real trigger point. It can cause some of our mental health issues because of that loss. So I'm not trying to trigger anybody, but I'm just trying to share some stuff with you with regards to that. Or maybe it was more of a slow withdrawal, where calls and texts became few and far between before finally disappearing. So think about that in yourself, because we may not even realize that that is something that has triggered us or has caused a problem. Maybe we've lost something or somebody previously in our lives, and then somebody else that we loved slowly does all of this thing that I've been sharing up to this point, and it triggers you. I mean, your mental health is your mental health, and my mental health is my mental health. So I'm just trying to go through some things to help you guys through this, because it is very apparent right at this moment that Mandy's, for instance, her mental health struggles started obviously way sooner, way back in her life. But I believe that the loss of her little kitty cat and it being her emotional support and all that type of thing, the loss of that little guy really triggered her into a different state, a place where she's learning to live again, learning to go through things again. So she's been back with her psychologist and stuff like that, trying to work through things. You guys will hear more of that when Mandy is back. We're just trying to give her the time that she needs to get better mentally and be able to feel better and to feel more like who she is in her skin, if that makes any sense. So anyway, let me just continue on with this. Feelings of abandonment can be devastating, especially when they happen when we are seemingly at our lowest, okay? So that being said, I'm kind of doing a little bit of a foreshadowing. I know that Mandy had been struggling off and on a little bit prior to, you know, the loss of her kitty, and then her kitty was getting sicker and sicker and they couldn't figure out what it was and stuff like that. So she tried everything in her power, as well as the veterinarian clinic that they were bringing their little kitty cat to, tried so hard to try and help this little kitty. They tried everything. But you know, sometimes this is the point of it's like a slow withdrawal sometimes, or the inevitability that you know that they're going to be gone. You know, that type of thing. So maybe your sense of abandonment started as a child at home with your parents, or at school where you lost a close friend maybe. Maybe you've had your marriage come to a heartbreaking end, or maybe you can't quite put your finger on a specific situation, but the feeling of constant abandonment looms overhead. I can imagine Christ knows what it's like to feel abandoned. I think about that all the time. I think about, you know, his death and the things that he did for us, and feeling abandoned by God and stuff like that, even though God did not abandon him. Just that feeling. Okay, in Matthew 26:56, we read how his disciples, okay, so his disciples meaning Jesus's disciples, forsook him and fled. And yeah, that would have been tough too, because those are supposed to be his friends, right? The people that he's closest to. When the Pharisees came with the temple guard and Roman soldiers to arrest him, his friends, ones that he had ministered to, provided for, and placed in his inner circle, abandoned him. When things got tough, they split. And so maybe you're struggling with that type of thing. Who knows? But just know that Jesus has suffered the things that you have suffered. He has suffered abandonment. He suffered those types of things. Wrestling with feelings of abandonment can feel like wading through deep mud. And if we're not careful, it can set off a downward spiral that leads to broken relationships, isolation, fear, and depression. So yeah, so know that Mandy knows all those things, and she knows that that can be something that can happen. So that's why she's started going back to her psychologist again, started taking, you know, doctor's advice. So she's been seeing her GP and all of those things, because she wants to stay in the healthy side of things, and she could feel herself slipping. So that's important for you guys to be able to start to know and to feel when things are starting to go on the other side of things. Not the good side, but the badder side type of thing. Badder, I don't know if that's even a word, but anyway. Okay, so I'm just going to go on with this. But God sees your pain and in love is reaching down to comfort your heart, not just out of sympathy, but from a deep understanding of having experienced this himself. So he knows all of your pains. He knows the things that you're going through. It's not just something of like where he's like, oh, I understand. No, he actually does understand because he's been there. Okay? His promise to you is to be with you always. Your Abba Father, as your friend, he will never leave you. And that is a promise. So Deuteronomy 31:8 says, the Lord himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. So that to me is a huge thing, that we don't have to feel fear. We don't have to worry about that because he is with you always. So that is a promise. And basically, I just wanted to share that with you guys to remind you that you are not alone. You're never alone. And of course, you know, if you guys want to comment on this on our YouTube channel, comment your issues if you want to, and I promise you that I will get this stuff to Mandy so that she will be able to read your comments as well. Even if you want to send an encouraging comment or an encouragement of love to her, feel free to do that. You can comment that. You can message us on this YouTube. You can comment or message us on Instagram if you'd like to, or you can just plainly email it to us if you'd like to. So let me just share that with you guys right now. The Instagram is at MHC Your Story. So if you want to go on that and follow us there, subscribe on there, subscribe on this channel as well. We would love to have that. Feel free to do that, but you could just message us privately on that if you want to, or you can email us and it is mhcyourstory@gmail.com. So email us if you want to. And I promise you that I will get this stuff out to Mandy so that she knows that she is loved as well. Know that you guys are loved. Know that we stand with you. And you know, even though Mandy is going through this stuff, she is constantly praying. She is constantly praying for you guys, for all of the things that you suffer through. So know that you are not alone. And Mandy is not alone because she knows that she has you guys. If you are looking for phone numbers to be able to contact help in any way, remember 911 is the most important one right there. So if you're in an emergency, then dial 911. For all the other numbers that you may require, please feel free to check out our description box in this YouTube video, because in there you will find a list of numbers that you can contact as well as our email and our Instagram and that type of thing. So we love you guys. God bless you all, and just keep keeping on and stay strong, because we're praying for you guys all the time. And thank you so much for just being patient with us, and know that you're just going to have me for a little while, but that's okay, because that means that Mandy is taking the time to reduce her vulnerabilities, taking the time to get herself better, those types of things. So God bless you all. Bye for now. See you next time.